Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins. Let's chop it up. Our guest today is Mark Drager, and he's from a suburb of Toronto, Canada. Yes, Canada.
Canada. That's how we say it, right?
That's right. So we're going international today. Okay. Mark actually founded his creative production company in 2006, and he grew it to a little over $2 million in annual revenue, and then slowly watched as it all crumbled around him. And he's going to expand and tell us more about that and how he put the crumbles back together, so to speak. So through the hard lessons he learned in working to not make the same mistakes again or twice, today he has Phantom Media, and it focuses less on growth and keeping the machine fed and more on doing the extraordinary work with cool people. And I like that, or really cool people. That's awesome, Mark. That's a good story right there. So you're a brand strategist. He also understands the need to be courageous. And Mark, believe it or not, that's my word for the year, courageous. Every year,
I love it.
A lot of folks, they pick a word, and that's mine. So Mark, welcome to the show again. And, let's let her rip. I'm excited to have you. Your energy is just amazing.
Audrey, thank you so much. Let's get to the chop, right?
Right. Let's chop it up, baby. So obviously you're not at the foot of that hill looking up again. You're back on top, but give us kind of a journey. I mean, folks want to know, because it might happen to somebody else, who's listening, me, and you just never know where we're going to end up on our journey.
Well, so yeah, you know what? Here's the truth: is I'm not back up yet. I'm getting back up, but a few hard lessons along the way. I did start my creative agency in 2006. I was 23 years old. My wife wasn't working because she just graduated college, and while she was in college, we had our first daughter. And so 23, newly married, have our daughter. And she's a few months old, and I decide that I'm going to quit my job. I'm the sole breadwinner. We're living in Toronto, which is kind of like the New York City of Canada. So a lot of money, certainly a lot of business, a lot of careers, a lot of things happening. But man, is it expensive to live there. So I'm the sole breadwinner. I'm earning $45,000 a year, and I decide I'm going to quit my job and start this company. And my pitch to my wife at the time was like, honey, we're going to make so much money. And she was like, I'm not sure. Is this a good idea? And I'm like, no, trust me. Like I have this skill. I help people communicate with video, and I make videos, and video's going to pop, and YouTube's a thing. And there's this new thing called social media at the time. And I'm like, if I have a job at a company making videos for people, and I make $45,000 doing this for one company, imagine if I do this for 10 or 15 or 20, we're going to make so much money.
Right.
And as it turns out, that wasn't really the case. Apparently that's not how business works to start off with. But flash forward a number of years, and hard years at that, and we figure some things out, and we start making money. And as you mentioned, by the time COVID hit, over $2 million in revenue. I have 24 full-time staff.
Wow.
And over the course of those 10 plus years, we moved from making like really bad. I moved from me being alone. It was just me and a camera and some lights. And I'm just I'm selling, and I'm delivering, and I'm editing, and I'm staying up late. I'm trying to do everything myself. And we grow from that, doing some okay training videos for companies, the types of things that are like, since 1988, XYZ company has been known for blah, 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 blah. Like the stuff that no one wanted to watch,
right?
That no one wanted to pay attention to. But we started there. And by the time COVID hit, we're doing national commercial campaigns with the NBA. We're doing radio campaigns. We're helping entrepreneurs and startups launch brands and business. And we're just doing all these different things. But here was the problem. I had a 7-figure payroll that I had to meet. I had to keep growing, because if you're not growing, what are you doing, right? Like if you're not getting bigger in terms of team, or you're not getting bigger in terms of revenue, or you're not working on cooler and cooler projects all the time, then you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're standing still. And if you're standing still, you're falling behind. And so there was this machine I created, as I mentioned, like keeping the machine fed meant we had to do hundreds of projects a year, like 200 or 300 projects a year. We had to have 30 or 40 clients on the go at any given time.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot. And we were doing more work with more people that was outside of our core skill set. And so we were doing bad work and we were making mistakes. And so it's like this effort to get more and more and more hit the point where it's just like I couldn't keep it up anymore. I was burning out. I was having panic attacks. It was year after year after year of me feeling like I just didn't like the answer was more, but I didn't even want more. Like I didn't even want what I had. But I had spent over a decade building this company.
Right.
And my wealth, like my family's wealth and money, other than my life insurance policy for my wife, if something happened to me, my wife, my kids, their future, also all of our wealth is tied up in the company. All of my self-worth is tied up in this company. All of my personality and what people knew about me and my persona is as the guy who runs this company. And I just couldn't figure out what to do.
So what happened?
Well, the pandemic hit, which was disastrous, actually. It was, I mean, for everyone, it was terrible.
Right.
But it was especially terrible for us because 70%, 80% of our business happened in person. And so suddenly it's like we're having, I don't know, we had the exact numbers, maybe $600,000 or $700,000 of work got put on hold overnight.
Wow.
And my payroll still has to be met. And now I'm in Canada. The government immediately acted with some subsidies, which helped. Earlier off camera, we were talking before we hit record, we were talking about offices. And I said, yeah, we had to get rid of our office. That saved me $60,000 a year. Like I had to just start cutting stuff, like just cutting, like, is this important or not? But the other thing that happened during the pandemic in the first few months of lockdown was I felt free.
Wow.
I felt this tremendous sense of freedom because my phone, I don't know about you, but my phone used to ring. And every time it rang, I went, what now? I would go to check my email and I would be in 2 or 3 hours of meeting. I'd come out and I'd have 350 emails waiting for me.
Wow.
And I would go, what now?
Right.
And, just like, I would wake up on a Monday morning and go like, okay, it's another week again. And I didn't become an entrepreneur for that. I don't know about you.
No.
I don't know about anyone who's listening, but we don't become entrepreneurs to be less free.
That's correct.
Be more trapped or to be more depressed or to trade in your boss and your paycheck for 30 or 40 clients. And I had amazing clients. They were amazing people. None of them even realized I just wasn't happy.
Wow.
And so when the lockdown ended, and I only noticed this. So, okay, so I'm building this company. I got all these plans, go. Lockdown happens and suddenly I feel free because I had an excuse. Like, we can't move forward on projects. Oh, I don't have to worry about it. Clients aren't calling me because they're the ones putting things on hold. Thank goodness I don't have to worry about it. But we come out of lockdown and suddenly my wife and everyone in my life, they're feeling more free, right? They're saying, thank goodness we can now go visit friends, and thank goodness we can travel, and thank goodness we can, like, everyone else felt more free as we came out of lockdown.
Yes.
I felt more restricted again. Suddenly I realized in that moment that the life I had been living, and again, great people, great friends, great community, great relationships, great clients, but I was doing so much stuff I didn't want to do for other people that suddenly now I started feeling that burden of going back into the old role. Going out for dinners I didn't want to go out for, maybe, or inviting people over that are great people, but it's just like when you see your calendar, you're like, oh, right, we got to do that thing. Like everything started to feel like a chore and a burden. And I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Like, I don't think any amount of money is worth it. And I don't think the stress is worth it. And I don't think dying of a heart attack at, let's say, 45 or 50 is worth it.
Absolutely.
And I just don't think any of this is worth it anymore. So then you're faced with the next question. If you're not doing this, what are you doing?
Right.
If you're not the person you thought you were, who are you? And the reason I started, big long answer, but the reason I started saying I'm not
No,
on
but
top
the
yet,
story is
I'm,
powerful.
I'm
You're bringing us through, this whole process. And I'm like,
well, the reason I'm not on top yet is 2020 was a very painful year of facing hard truths and starting to unwind some of the commitments I made. And I felt like a cheater to people because I'd
Yes.
spent years promising to them that I would be the person who would help them. And now suddenly I realized I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to get our company out of legal contracts where people had paid us for stuff that suddenly now I didn't have the team and the ability to deliver profitably. So now I'm facing like either bankruptcy or hard conversations. And suddenly I'm trying to figure out if I'm not this person or doing these things, then what am I doing and who am I? And so that was 2020. 2021 was a lot of just messing around because I just giving time to recover from kind of being burnt out, realizing that I did have skills that I thought I didn't have anymore, realizing that I still loved this, but I only loved it in certain times, in certain ways, with certain people. So how could I do more of that?
Yeah.
And really getting to the core of like, you know what? I am in my heart, I'm still an entrepreneur. I still want to help people. And so I spent 12 months on top of financial issues and legal issues and all of this stuff, really going like, okay, what when I started my agency, when I started my company, what was the core? What was at the heart of it? And does that still spark me? Does that still light me up? And am I willing to do the hard work again? And so that was 2021. And then 2022 was developing products, developing services, talking to people, networking, testing it in market, taking it to the market, working with people to figure out, hey, is this product something, this thing that we do that I think we're amazing at and we're better at? And I realized looking back, this was the reason people worked with us. Now, are people in today's market willing to pay for it? Or in today's market, does it drive value? And so it's been like 3 years. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I had done it faster. And when I was younger, I was super impatient, but I don't know if I could have gone about it any other way.
No, you had to do it like you said, like the name of your podcast, We Do Things Hard. You had to do it that way. Or otherwise you wouldn't have learned the lesson, and then you wouldn't be telling your story, helping other people. So you aren't just helping people with your agency and the actual products and services that you offer. You're helping us with your journey, because we're all entrepreneurs. Like I said, some things we didn't sign up for, some things we didn't know we were signing up for.
Yeah.
Because it just comes with the territory. But what I'm hearing, from your conversation is clarity, getting clarity, really understanding, who you are, who we are, inside, and how does that mesh with the people that we want to serve.
Yeah.
And bringing that service into, bringing our talents into that service, into the plate, or I'm thinking the right concept there, for bringing it all together.
And you know what I wish I had learned younger, but if I could give my younger self advice, anyone who's younger themselves or earlier in their entrepreneurial journey, or maybe you're just stepping into this, here's the truth. I had to make the mistakes to learn the lessons. And I used to think that there was a right way and a wrong way to do things. And if I could just find the right way, I could avoid all the wrong ways. And then I talked to really successful entrepreneurs. And I've spent a lot of years now studying artists and creatives and, some of the people I look up to. And I realized that every single person is going about things for the first time in real time. And so, I look up to the Beatles, for example. Now a lot of people like them or hate them. They think they're good musicians or bad musicians. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point of the story with the Beatles is when the Beatles broke from the UK into America and had the top 5 singles, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth on the Billboard 100 charts. No one had ever done that before. When it became Beatlemania, no one had done that before. But not only had no one done that, they hadn't done that. Their managers hadn't done it. EMI Records hadn't done it. All the smart business people, no one in the company, in the management, or in the band had ever done this or seen this before. So guess what? they're going to make mistakes.
That's right.
And when you look at their story and you go from album to album or record to record, it looks like highlights. But when you actually study their story and realize, oh, in 1965 they went to the Philippines, and they were invited to the dictator of Manila, and in Manila they were invited to the dictator's home. Because of a scheduling conflict, they actually accidentally didn't show up. The dictator felt that he slighted their wife, and there was almost riots in the streets. They had to be escaped out of the Philippines overnight into another country and flown to safety because of a scheduling issue. And the press goes, how could the Beatles have done this to world order, to the dictators? But if you get into the story, it's literally just a scheduling issue.
Right.
And so I used to look at my entrepreneurial journey and my clients and my projects and my revenue and my team, and I go, how could we make these mistakes? How could we have not known? How could we have not seen this? And now I take a lot of comfort actually in just looking at some of my heroes and going, oh man, they made so many mistakes, because we're all figuring this out for the first time in real time. And there's no way around that. We're just, you're going to make mistakes.
Right. Exactly. So we just say to our newbies or people on their journey 1 to 5 years, is like, just keep your armor on. Know that, don't look for it, but just, you'll be more ready when it comes, after we, feel that initial shock that, oh, okay, I remember that guy Mark Drager was talking about something like this. It's okay. And then, it's like, it's okay that we failed. And it's like, okay, I'm going through whatever, is some point, some really hard time, and I'm thinking about it, feeling down on myself. And all of a sudden I think, well, God knew this was going to happen. And so then, then all of a sudden I just relax and go with the flow. Okay, so what do I need to do next to pick myself up, like you're saying, and move on.
And that's really the question. It's like, you need to have urgency and hustle and work hard, but working 10 hours a day or working 16 hours a day doesn't actually move you that much further faster. I kind of equate it like, I used to drive. So I used to run my business, and I used to drive like the person who would always just drive a little quicker than everyone else. So everyone's speeding, but I'm speeding quicker.
Okay.
Everyone's changing lanes, but I'm changing a lot of lanes, right? Like, we used to do these trips from Toronto down to Florida. And I know that if with weather and certain times of day, and if you leave, you can do the drive in 22 hours. So if I'm on the road and I'm on a mission, then I'm setting my cruise control for, 10 or 20 miles over the limit. I'm watching for brakes up ahead in case that there's a with radar. I'm switching lanes. I'm going in and out. I'm never being dangerous in my mind. But I'm on a mission and I'm in a hurry. And here's what I've learned. Doing all of that is all great. It makes you feel like you're moving and you're hustling and you're efficient. And, you stop at the rest stop and you run into the bathroom and you run back up and you refuel and you're eating as you drive and all of that stuff. And that's cool. But if you run your business or your life, or you drive that way, or you just kind of go with the speed of traffic, and rather than try to run in and out of the bathroom and get really impatient because there's a long lineup in the restroom, you just go like, it takes what it takes.
Yeah.
By the time I go from Toronto to Florida in 22 hours, or if I just go with the flow and have a really easy time, I might only be adding like 45 minutes to my overall trip. But the journey is like not 22 hours of nonstop stress and fight or flight and everything, making me upset. And the fact that we're hitting, traffic in Charlotte. And again, in business, it's like you're going to run into the roadblocks of the client. You want to sign the client today because you want the revenue, but they want to wait 2 weeks to start.
Yeah.
Okay. They said yes, but then the project gets canceled halfway through. The people buy something, but then they come back and they return half of it. Like the person who's going to go into business with you, like with me when we started, I had a business partner. A week before incorporation, he approached me and said, Mark, I just can't. Okay, so now I'm starting it alone, or I guess I'm not starting at all, right? Like there's just going to be setback after setback after setback. And I lived my life originally just like the efficiency, the man on the mission, the push, 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 push.
Mhm.
And I think it worked. It worked really well, but it only worked until it stopped working.
Right.
Because I couldn't do it forever.
Mhm.
And if you can't do this forever, which is literally the secret to success, the secret to success is your business is not going to last forever. Your clients aren't going to last forever. Your product, what makes you unique, what makes you different, everything is changing all the time. None of that stuff's going to last forever. Companies rise, companies fall. Revenue goes up, revenue goes down, profitabilities change, the way you advertise, the way you market, the platforms change. Everything changes all the time. Nothing is static. I used to think I could build something and I would be doing it for the rest of my life. And I've now learned that everything has a season. So you're going to make money a certain way for 2 or 3 years. And then the next 2 or 3 years, it'll be different and different. So the secret to success is you being able to continually make money or make profits or whatever your goal is forever. And if you need to be able to do this forever, you got to be able to do this consistently day after day after day. You can't go crazy hard for 8 months and then have to take 6 months off because you burnt out. I could not live that. It worked until it stopped working. And when it stopped working, it really stopped. And so now what I have to do, and I wish younger me could realize this, is it's uncomfortably slow. I still need to take action. I still need to make investments. I still have to have plans. I still have to work on it every day. I still have to make myself uncomfortable. But I used to look at the uncomfortability of like, how big can it be? How scary can it be? Like that uncomfortable. And my current thing that makes me uncomfortable is how big picture patient can I be?
Right.
How comfortable can I be with people saying no and me going, okay, I'm gonna accept your no, but I'm gonna go look for someone else who will give me a yes.
Exactly.
And like, just, I don't know about you in business. I don't know if you feel this way or not, but it's got to be the thing. You are the product. You are the service. You are the one who's going to keep doing this forever. And successful people just do that.
Yeah, well, I agree. It is. Yeah, it's me. So today, Phantom Media, tell me about your company.
Yeah, so we started as a video company, and I think many entrepreneurs start with the skill that they have. And when I was busy selling video, no one would buy. Nobody like some people wanted a video, but most people needed a video, but it wasn't a video they were buying. What they were buying was an outcome. And so I realized a few years in, people actually, video is just a medium. What we're actually best at is communications, or marketing tools, or sales tools, or training tools, or there was always a reason. No one wants the hammer, they say, they want the picture up on the wall.
Exactly.
And so over the last, we've been doing this now for 16 years, and we've produced 13, 14, $15 million of creative content. When I said that I took that year to figure out what made us us, I realized that the truth is people always came to us for us to be able to help them figure out and clarify, what is it you want to do? Who do you want to connect with or speak to? And what is your competition or market doing? So we can create something that helps you stand out. And this idea of like, what do you really want to accomplish? I can tell you, Audrey, like, honestly, I've worked on projects where we had like a $200,000 or $300,000 budget to do national commercial campaigns with some of the biggest companies in the world. And the brief they gave me had total holes in it. Like, there was never a sound business strategy. And so if you're just starting, or if you're an entrepreneur, or you're running a small business, or you're growing, even the people in the biggest roles in the biggest companies don't really get specific enough with what they want. Okay. And so today what we do is we help entrepreneurs and coaches and consultants figure out their positioning, figure out their brand, and figure out their messaging to help them sell more. So what do you need to look like? Who do you need to be? Who are you connecting with? What do they care about? What do you need to say to engage people?
Basic but important questions. Oh my goodness.
Questions that most people don't answer. So it's things like, well, everybody is told, they go to events, they go to conferences, you work with business coaches, and they say, you need a website. You need a funnel, you need a landing page, you need a course, you need a download, you need a white paper, you need to start a podcast, you need all of these things. And then they try, or they start, and eventually they go, is it working? Is it worth my time, my money, my effort? Is it working? But they don't know. And the reason most of us don't know if what we're doing is working or not is because we didn't start with like a goal or an objective or even a way to measure this. So if you
Right.
wanted to launch a podcast and your goal was to get better at presenting, it doesn't really matter how many people watch or listen.
Mhm.
Your goal is to become a better presenter. It's to get the reps
Absolutely.
in. And you're going to use those skill sets for the rest of your life in pitches and presentations and whatever it is, in coaching and communications. And so if that is your goal, but you start a podcast and you're busy worrying about how many people are watching and you go, oh, I don't know if anyone's watching. You can always go back to your goal and go, oh, right. It doesn't matter. I was only doing this to get better at it.
Okay.
But if your goal is to build an audience,
Mhm.
and you're doing it week after week after week, month after month after month, and your audience isn't growing, what you're doing isn't working. Like, let's be honest, right? Like, so what else are you going to try? What else are you going to do? What are other people doing? Can you take a course? Can you learn? Can you hire a coach? Do you need to advertise? Like, and so we run off and we do all of these different things. But step number one is just like, why am I doing this? What do I want to do? Why am I spending the time? Why am I spending the money? How will I measure if this is working or not? We help people figure that out.
Okay.
And then when you're doing marketing or advertising or sales or whatever, the vast majority of time and money is wasted because the wrong message is sent to the wrong people at the wrong time. We help people figure that out. And then lastly, they don't create compelling enough reasons, or there's no urgency. There's no real reason to pick you versus your competitors. There's no real reason to work with you and say, I got to sign up today. Like if I don't get started on this today, I will be missing out on what lost potential. And so people don't know this, and we help them figure that out. And once you know those things, like why you're spending the money you're spending, or what you're doing, and who you're speaking to, and what message you need to say to actually connect with them, and how to do it in a way that's different than your competition. Like in the middle of this weird triangle, if you can visualize it, or this overlap, is what makes you unique. It's what makes you different. It's what makes you stand out. It's the reason people buy and they'll move forward with you. And I'm not making stuff up. It's not like me inventing a new version of you. This is true to who you are because we started with you. That process is what we help people with today. And I've watched too many smart businesses with a lot of money fail because they just didn't answer these questions. So what happens when most people start is they don't ever answer any of these questions, and that's fine. And they do see success. But then you want to scale, or you want to grow, or, like you can sell if you're speaking to network or family or friends or referrals, but you want to start advertising. And as soon as you step outside of whatever it is that you've been doing that works for you for the last year or 2 years or 3 years, when you're ready, when you're itching to then hit that next stage and grow, whatever has been working for you will not work out there. And so you end up spending way too much money. It's a different process. It's a different approach. And so most people don't come to us when they're like, I want to start a business. They come to us when they're a few years into their business and they're seeing success. But every time they try to grow outside of what's working, they run into a roadblock because it's a different place, a different audience, a different message, a different approach. Like everything is different. And so that's when people come to us, and that's when we can help.
So how can we get in touch with you? How can we so we can get to that point?
Well, I have two offers for you, and these are not. I've actually never said this on a podcast before. So, audience listeners, you guys are the first. Here's the first offer. I should, but I don't have a funnel. I don't have all of this stuff set up where it's like you're going to enter into my email list. I don't even have an email list. But if you head over to Instagram and send me a direct message, my Instagram handle is @MarkDrager. Send me a direct message and ask for the Badass Brand Playbook.
Yeah.
The Badass Brand Playbook. And here's what I'm going to give you. It's actually an internal document that I made for my team. It explains all of what I just explained in greater detail and why you might want to consider this. But it's going to teach you the very process that we have used, that I've used for over a decade, that we've produced over $12 million of content with. And that's like people have paid us $12 million to use this process time and time again. And I've used this from everything from landing pages to videos to email marketing to the speech I gave, the toast I gave at my brother's wedding. Like this is how you need to, if you want to connect with someone, you need to follow these steps. I will give it to you. So just send me a message. I will send it to you personally. Or if you think your business is ready to make an investment and hit the next level, I would be happy to jump on a call with you. If you're listening right now and you think, you know what, I'm not just starting, I'm a few years in, I can definitely sell, but I just can't grow sales. I will jump on a free 30-minute call with you one-on-one. Head over to Instagram and tell me you're listening to this podcast, because again, this is not something I'm worried I'm going to get inundated. This is not something that I normally offer up, but head over to my Instagram channel. Tell me that you'd love a free 30-minute strategy call and you were listening to this podcast, reference this podcast, and I would be happy to jump on a free call with you and work through your goals, your audience, and give you completely free advice and send you on your way.
That's awesome, Mark. So folks, you heard him, get that DM over on Instagram at Mark Drager, and that's Drager, Drager. Do it fast. Offer may run out before you know.
If I get inundated, then I might be like, it's not that I won't,
exactly.
I'm not going to renege, but it might be like, listen, we're 2 months booked out.
Right, and you still have to keep the lights on, right?
Exactly.
Feed your family. So, but that's an awesome offer. Really, really appreciate that, to get your, that the process that you use to grow your business, and also that a 30-minute consultation. That would be awesome. So, folks, definitely head over to Instagram and DM Mark Drager. All right, well, Mark, that's going to be a wrap for us, unless there is one last
chop. Right there, we go.
Chopped it up. I like that. Thank you for bringing that in there. So if you have a last word or two, the mic's yours.
I appreciate it. Listen, things are going to feel great. When things are awesome and you're excited, they're not as good as you think. When things are terrible and bad and it's the end of the world and everything's crumbling around you, they're not as bad as you think. The only secret to success is to keep going and never give up on yourself. Give up on a product, give up on a service, change things. Businesses come and go. The way you make money will change. All that stuff's cool. You can never give up on yourself, because I've watched myself build up a multi-million-dollar company, and I thought, oh gosh, if this disappears and goes bankrupt, I'm over. I didn't realize, no, I could shrink my company. No, I could get smaller. I'm the first one in. That means I'm the last one out.
Right.
That's a pretty safe place to be, isn't it?
Exactly.
And while it's not great for my team, not great for my employees, to have to downsize. But I always thought that if things ended, I was over. It turns out I'm going to be okay. And you're going to be okay too. You're the first person in, you're the last person out. Never give up on yourself and keep going, and you will get through almost anything.
Thank you for listening to The Business Chop. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guest, and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businesschop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.